Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening everyone. First tonight, it's unclear when a new helipad will be built at the Launceston General Hospital after the current one was deemed non-compliant by the Civil Aviation Safety Authority. It has been revealed the Health Department was originally advised the helipad could be used until late this year, but that advice was revoked, leaving patients to face 2 transfers.
A crucial link for critical care, compromised. The skies are a crucial link to healthcare, but it's no longer a direct flight to the LGH.
Patients will be delayed, and if it's an urgent matter, then that compromises their care.
The LGH helipad no longer complies with updated civil aviation regulations, forcing helicopters to land 10 minutes away at the Launceston airport and patients to be transferred the last part by road.
I'm advised by clinicians in the Health Department that the interim arrangements at the Launceston airport are safe and effective, but we will find a better and more long-term solution.
Given the resourcing crisis that we're seeing every day with Ambulance Tasmania, that additional pressure is the last thing that they need.
In May, the department was advised by an external aviation consultant that the helipad could operate until late this year. 6 months later, they were informed that it would need to cease earlier than originally planned. The airport site was identified and emergency department staff were told about the change in the week before Christmas.
The helipad is just another example of a failure to deliver critical infrastructure across our health system.
The Health Department is searching for a closer temporary site. However, the same patient transfer problems could persist.
We clearly need to see an upgrade for a helipad here in Launceston, and I intend as Treasurer to make sure that I work with the Health Department to support them.
An upgraded helipad is included in the LGH Master Plan, released in 2021. Those works are due to be completed sometime in the next 2 years, but there's no precise timelines. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
The state government is being called on to give permanency to up to 100 paramedics currently on short-term contracts. Over half of these are based in the northwest.
We have recruited people who want to stay in the region, which is really exciting, but if there's no job for them, they're not going to stay.
Health Secretary Catherine Morgan-Wick says some positions have already been extended and permanency will be considered in the upcoming budget. There's a chance of further industrial action as their bargaining dispute drags on. Ensuring paramedics receive meal breaks is a key issue for the union. The acting Premier says the current offer includes wellbeing officers to address this, along with increased meal break lengths and missed meal break allowance. The Prime Minister has expressed optimism about the proposed Macquarie Point Stadium. Anthony Albanese says he sees the commercial benefits for sport, arts and tourism if the site can be revitalised. Speaking on Melbourne radio, he added the discussion needs to extend beyond the benefits for AFL.
It needs to be seen not as just an AFL stadium. It needs to be seen as an urban redevelopment project there at Macquarie Point.
Mr Albanese says he's had constructive discussions with Premier Jeremy Rockcliffe. The state government is asking for $375 million towards the project from its federal counterparts. 2 vets had the surprise of their lives being held up by a slippery sunbaker on the road. The pair helped shield the seal until an expert rescue team arrived.
On this sealed road at White Hills, one hot-footed pedestrian put a pair of passerby vets in a jam.
Don't mind me.
Sir Seal didn't seem to mind at all, except the place he found to lie like a log wasn't fit for a marine mammal.
I said, what is that? Because I've never seen a seal and we're in the middle of farmland.
What happened next was an urgent switch to traffic control as our fin-footed friend made it back to the blue.
It would just kind of roll over and flipper a bit and then it settle in a new position. And like when it's lying there, you think, oh, is it okay? But then it would sort of sit up and you go, no, it's okay, it's just having a sunbake.
Thankfully, they warned off motorists long enough to seal a safe path back to the rivulet. But being 20 kilometres from the Tamar, a little extra help was needed, with wildlife teams called to help steer it to safety.
Hopefully he's heading downstream now.
Official advice is to keep your distance from seals and to leave the heavy lifting to the experts so we can catch these seals on the flip side. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, draft legislation banning the display of Nazi symbols is now open for consultation. Attorney General Elise Archer released the draft bill today, saying the symbols promote hate and cause fear in the community. Memorabilia will not be affected unless it's displayed without a legitimate purpose. The draft bill can be viewed on the Justice Department website. 90 extra defibrillators are making their way into the community under the latest round of a special funding program. Those on Life Saving's front lines say the devices are now spread broadly across the state. They're encouraging Tasmanians to download the AED Locator app.
That will actually display on your mobile phone where the nearest defibrillator is located.
I think it's really nice to know that we've got something nearby in case there was an accident.
Time is critical. A person's chance of survival drops nearly 10% each minute when suffering a cardiac arrest. The Aboriginal Land Council of Tasmania is concerned after a yacht abandoned during the Sydney-Hobart yacht race washed ashore on Cape Barren Island. The crew of Huntress had to be rescued on December 28th after rough seas tore the rudder away. They were taken to Flinders Island, leaving the yacht to flounder. Huntress is now washed up where salvage crews hope to retrieve the yacht before it causes an oil spill. The Jack Jumpers will pay tribute to Tasmania's basketball heritage, reviving one of the state's most iconic playing tops. Players will wear the Hobart Devils colours for the NBL's Heritage Round celebrations. Former Devils player Darren Smith, who wore the jersey between 1994 and 1996, spoke with the players today about the Devils' history. He says his 3 years in Tasmania were among the happiest of his career.
Lucky enough I met my wife here as well, so we've got really strong connections, and now we're back living here. So, to see these guys rocking around in this uniform again is fantastic.
Heritage Round takes place over weeks 15 and 16 of the competition. More than 500 scouts from across the country have descended on Forth for the organisation's first major event in 3 years. It's the first time Tasmania has hosted the National Rover Moot in almost 20 years, with organisers hoping to lure their visitors off the beaten track.
Deep in the bush, these Rover Scouts are making the most of the chance to get together, including Kit, who's come from Queensland to make friends and mountain biking memories.
Yes, I've become very familiar with the Tasmanian earth and nature. Intimately familiar. Eaten a little bit of it too.
Held once every 3 years, the Rover Moot is an adults-only affair for Scouts between the ages of 18 and 26.
So it's mostly about preparing you for adult life and providing service to the younger sections and to the general community.
They've been roving the state since Monday, taking in some of the best Tasmania has to offer.
It's been really good. I was on the diving expedition, so we got to get down underneath Tasmanian waters.
The fun's all been put together by a dedicated crew of 15 young Tasmanians who've been on the tools for the past 6 years, but it hasn't always been easy.
We've been through fires, COVID and floods to get here. So in the lead up, I think we've been through the most that you could possibly. There is nothing left that the world can throw at us.
With the last moot called off because of 2020's summer bushfires and other Scouts events cancelled by COVID, the pressure's been on to get this one right.
It's been amazing to actually see all of those people walk in the gate, to have all these people smiling and saying how awesome the time they're having is.
For the next few days, they'll be scouting out a slightly more relaxing time while camping near Forth. Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
The greenery of Hobart's Botanical Gardens will form the perfect backdrop to a Shakespearean classic over coming weeks. The playwright's classic tale of love, A Midsummer Night's Dream, is being performed by a Tasmanian cast and crew with opening night tonight.
Midsummer Night's Dream is Shakespeare's funniest play, maybe, and it's set in most of it is set in the forest where all sorts of mad things happen.
Being able to do it among the trees, it brings a lot of life. For me personally, and I'm sure for all of the other performers as well. It brings a real truth to running through the forest.
Tickets are on sale from the Theatre Royal website. The show runs until January 21.
The Hobart Hurricanes hit their highest score in franchise history, but it still wasn't enough to beat the Adelaide Strikers last night. In nearly a carbon copy of Monday's game in Hobart, openers Ben McDermott and Caleb Jewell both contributed scores in the 50s, before English import Zach Crawley belted 3 sixes in his purple debut.
Oh boy, that's big too.
Sweep, and that's huge.
Oh, and another crowd catch.
What is going on?
Crawley finished unbeaten on 54, reaching the mark with a 6 off the last ball of the innings. The Hurricanes' record-breaking total of 229 was reached in large part thanks to Matt Short's century off 59 balls. The Strikers winning by 7 wickets in the final over. Paddy Dooley took 2 for 25. Our women's one-day team continues to soar, beating Queensland again at Allan Border Field. Nicola Carey took 3 for 27 to see the home side bowled out for 132. Player of the match, Elise Villani, then came to the crease with intent, smacking 57 not out off 48 balls. The Tigers winning by 7 wickets in the 18th over. Tasmania is now on top of the WNCL table. Great stuff. The Hobart International's #1 seed is looking to start 2023 the way she finished 2022. Czech Marie Buskova has unfinished business in Hobart, both with the tournament and some of the field.
All smiles today from one of the rising stars of world tennis. Marie Buskova is enjoying being back in Hobart, having fond memories of the city from her visit in 2020.
I remember also doing like some kind of kids activity here with the young ones, so that was fun for me, and obviously just getting to play here on the center court in doubles in the semis.
The Czech confident her knowledge of the venue will help her go that extra step.
This place, know how it feels to play here. Obviously, of course, here in Hobart it tends to be windy.
2022 served up some career highlights, finishing the year in the top 30. She was also a quarter-finalist at Wimbledon. A personal highlight, however, was claiming her first singles title on a home court in Prague.
Received so much love in that week. Never experienced that before, and just super grateful.
2017 US Open winner Sloane Stephens is also here, taking to the court this afternoon. She denied Buskova a maiden trophy in Mexico back in February, with the Czech relishing a rematch.
If I'll get a revenge of that match would be great, but I just have to take it a day by day.
Meanwhile, the gates will open to the public this weekend for a free community event.
It's an opportunity for the people of Hobart to come and experience this wonderful tennis, but also experience this wonderful venue.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
The Jack Jumpers coach is wary of a revived Melbourne United ahead of tomorrow's crunch clash. Tasmania beat them the last time they met, but United has won 5 of its last 7 matches. Scott Roth says Melbourne will be a different side compared to the one they last faced.
They're probably back to where they thought they would be in the beginning of the year before their injuries started to go through their team. So just their health and their overall fitness is back to what they probably wanted to be.
Meanwhile, Sean McDonald will stay in Tasmania for 2 more years. As part of the deal, the development player will become a full-time roster member in 2024. And with the test going pink, tonight's Friday flashback is going blue. In 2001, Colin Funky Miller had been a regular in Tasmania's Shield side, but when he got a test call-up against the Windies, he left quite the impression. The man they call Funky, Colin Miller, was a mainstay of Tasmania's Shield side in the late 90s. His efforts earned him a test debut alongside the likes of Shane Warne, who really did wear these sunnies.
Colin Miller and that in there, I'm sure he'll enjoy his chance.
But he made his biggest impression a few years later at the SCG.
I am lost for words. What is that?
Funky's freaky haircut floored the Windies captain Courtney Walsh in one of cricket's beautifully unscripted moments.
And I think Courtney Walsh is laughing. He can't believe it. I've never seen that in a test match. He's coming down. I think he's appealing against the reflection off the head.
The crowd loved every moment of it, declaring the dyed spinner a fan favourite for life. And what's funnier, Funky ended up claiming Walsh's scalp.
Caught him, he's got him, that's well caught. Matthew Hayden at bat pad.
Graduating Funky's name to sporting cult status forever.
This, I am reliably informed, is the first wicket taken by a bowler in Test cricket with blue hair.
One of cricket's great characters, Kim.
Yeah, nicely done, Tom.
Good evening, everyone. 26, the state's top today, recorded at Scott's Peak, 24 in Launceston, Devonport 20, 19 in Burnie and Hobart 18. Across the state, 24 in Ouse, Strawn 22, 21 on King Island, Flinders Island 20 and 19 in Low Head and Friendly Beaches. Mostly cloudy across Tasmania this morning, however the cloud gradually contracted to the northwest and east coast during the day. Further out, a large area of cloud covers northwestern Australia, with the monsoon trough active over tropical north. A frontal cloud band approaches the southwest of Western Australia. Tomorrow, a ridge of high pressure can be seen over southeastern Australia. The monsoon trough persists over tropical north, while another trough moves over southern Western Australia and South Australia. East to northeasterly winds tomorrow 10 to 20 knots, reaching up to 25 knots about the south and up to 30 knots about the northwest. And there is a strong wind warning current for the far northwest coast. Partly cloudy in the south tomorrow with Hobart a top of 23, 25 in Medina, Oatlands 22. Launceston, partly cloudy and 24, cloudy and 21 in Devonport, Lyowini 19. 18 degrees in Burnie tomorrow, 24 and partly cloudy in Strawn, Marrawar 21. And in the east, 19 in St Helens and cloudy and 20 in Swansea and Orford. And the UV tomorrow is extreme across the state with sunset expected at 8:50 p.m. Looking on to Sunday, fine apart from the chance of morning showers about the northwest. Showers developing about the southwest during the morning on Monday, extending to southern, eastern and central areas. And on Tuesday, isolated showers contracting to the north in the evening. Sunny and 29 in Perth and Melbourne tomorrow, Adelaide 36, 24 in Sydney, partly cloudy and 29 in Brisbane and showers in Cairns and Darwin. And it's currently partly cloudy across the state with Hobart and Devonport both 17 and 20 degrees in Launceston. And that's all in weather tonight, Kim.
Thank you, Chelsea, and that is all your news for now. We're back later with updates. Good night.